Finding an apartment in a big German city is like playing the lottery where thousands of people fight for a single prize. And for you as an expat, it is even harder. Studies show that applicants with a German-sounding name get 57% more viewing invites than foreigners. But does that mean you have no chance of finding a home? Absolutely not. You just need to know the rules of the game to get an advantage over the other players. Most people think finding an apartment is just about browsing websites, but it is actually a competitive sport. So let me show you the exact strategy that makes a landlord choose you over hundreds of other applicants. Plus, I'll show you why this photo saved me almost 5,000 euros in deposit money. This way, you secure a rental contract in record time and keep your money safe. Before we even look at the first listing, we need to do a reality check on your finances. In Germany, rent is split in two parts. First is the Kaltmiete, which translates to cold rent, and that is literally what it is. Just the price for the walls and the roof. But unless you plan to freeze in the dark, you cannot live in a cold apartment. You need to pay for heating, water, trash collection and more. And when you add these Nebenkosten, additional costs to the cold rent, you get the Warmmiete, warm rent. Important. These monthly costs are just an estimate. If you heat more than expected, you will get a bill at the end of the year. Also, electricity and internet are usually not included. You have to sign separate contracts for those. And don't forget the Rundfunkbeitrag, the mandatory German public broadcasting fee. So, how much rent can you actually afford? Landlords use a rule of thumb. Your total housing costs should not exceed 30%, maximum 40% of your net income. So if you earn 3,000 euro net per month, your maximum rent is 1,000 to 1,200 euro. If you apply for a flat that costs 1,500 or even 2,000 euros, the landlord will likely reject you immediately. And don't forget the deposit, Kaution in German. This is usually 3 times the cold rent. That means if the rent is 1,000 euros, you need to have 3,000 euros in cash ready to transfer when you sign the contract. Managing these costs can be overwhelming. So if you are unsure if your financial setup is solid, or you just want to optimize your taxes, insurance and investments while living in Germany, book a free meeting with us. The link is below. So before you start searching, check your bank account. Do you have enough money for the move, the first rent and the deposit? If yes, then and only then, you are ready to build your application. This is where you win or lose the game. Most people wait until a landlord asks for documents, but that's too late. In 2026, you need a golden portfolio, a single perfect PDF containing every document a landlord needs. And here's exactly what goes inside. The cover letter, Anschreiben in German. Do not write this in English, use ChatGPT or DeepL to write a polite, professional text in German. Introduce yourself briefly, mention your job, your net income and that you are a quiet non-smoker. Landlords love boring tenants, so be boring. Second, the self-disclosure, Mieter Selbstauskunft. This is a standard form that summarizes who you are. Download it online and fill it out in advance, so the landlord sees all your data at a glance. Third, proof of income. Attach your last 3 payslips. If you just started a new job and don't have payslips yet, include your employment contract, showing your salary. Fourth, the SCHUFA Bonitätsauskunft. This is your German credit score that proves you pay your bills. The document should be less than 3 months old. No SCHUFA usually means no flat. And fifth, the Mietschuldenfreiheitsbescheinigung. Yes, that German word is very long. That's what she said. It is a letter from your current landlord stating you always pay rent on time. If you are moving from abroad, attach your bank statements showing the rent leaving your account for the last 6 months. Merge all these documents into one PDF file and name it clearly. Landlords and real estate agents are busy. If they open your email and see one organized file with all the info they need, you just skipped 90% of the competition, at least. Now that you have your golden portfolio, where do you actually look? The big players are still ImmoScout24, Immowelt and WG Gesucht. And here's the painful truth about ImmoScout. You probably need the premium account. In cities like Munich or Berlin, many ads are visible only to premium users for the first 48 hours. And by the time free users see the ad, the viewing slots are already full. It costs money, yes, but view it as an investment to save months of stress. Speed is king, so set up push notifications on your phone, and when an ad goes live, apply within the first 5 to 10 minutes. But do not just click send. Always write a short, polite message in German. Dear landlord, I am and I have a stable job as I have attached my full application portfolio and would love to view the apartment as soon as possible. Congratulations! You got a viewing invite. Now, treat this exactly like a job interview, because it is one. Rule number 1. Punctuality. In Germany, being on time means being 5 minutes early. If you are late, you are out. Rule number 2. The handover. Bring a printed copy of your golden portfolio. And when you meet the landlord or agent, shake their hand, look them in the eye and say, I am very interested. Here are all my documents printed out for you. This physical handover signals that you are organized and serious. Rule number 3, the details. Ask if the kitchen is included. In Germany, many apartments are rented completely empty. No stove, no sink, just pipes sticking out of the wall. And if the previous tenant leaves their kitchen or furniture, you usually have to pay a fee called Ablöse to keep it. Also, check the windows for mold and the floor for water stains. I actually found a water stain when viewing my last apartment and immediately asked the landlord if I could take a photo. I'll tell you in a moment why that was so important. And most importantly, if you don't speak German, bring a German-speaking friend in case the landlord or agent doesn't speak English. If you get a rental contract after the viewing, great! But before you sign, pause and check for red flags and scams. If a landlord tells you they are currently abroad, maybe working in London, and they will mail you the keys after you transfer the deposit via Western Union or even crypto, it's a scam. Never transfer a single euro until you have seen the apartment in person and signed a contract. Speaking about the contract, check for Staffelmiete. This means the rent automatically increases by a fixed amount every year. Also, check if the contract is limited, befristet, or unlimited. You don't want to sign a contract where you are forced to move out again in 12 months. And remember that photo I showed you earlier? When you get the keys, you must sign a Übergabeprotokoll, a handover protocol. Document everything, every scratch, every stain, every crack. If a damage is not in the protocol, the landlord can claim you caused it and keep your deposit when you move out. But because I had that photo, I could prove the stain was already there and I saved my deposit. Also, write down the meter readings for electricity and water. And make sure you get all the keys. The landlord is not allowed to keep a spare key without your permission. And get the confirmation of address, die Wohnungsgeberbestätigung, from your landlord. You need this document to register at die Bürgeramt, which you have 2 weeks to do. Finding a flat is like winning the lottery, but with the right budget, the golden portfolio, and everything else we discussed, you can win the jackpot. And if you think that buying a home is easier or better than renting a home, watch this video next and see if your assumptions are correct. Thank you for watching und bis zum nächsten Mal.